because we have families, and sometimes we don't think we have the time to meditate or practice those kind of things. And just like you said, sometimes depending where you're at, you just have to go into a state of meditation and kind of just block everything out. I think that's really huge.
Sandra, I really appreciate you sharing your story. And what do you tell somebody who would come up to you just like you were, that person searching for someone to kind of help you see your through see their way through a certain illness? What do you tell somebody who's been diagnosed with cancer and they say, I heard that you got through this. What could I do?
First, I would tell them the fact that they're even asking me what can they do is a sign that they want to live. It sounds a little maybe harsh, but I'd ask them, do you want to live? Do you want to? Because prior to my diagnosis, I didn't want to live anymore. I was not necessarily suicidal, but I had become very sad and very depressed. And I didn't feel as though I had a purpose in life. I didn't feel as though things could change in my life. I was a stay-at-home mom and I was pretending to be happy. And I thought that how dare I not be happy? How dare I not want to live this life? How dare I not be grateful for everything that I had? I didn't have to work. The father of my kids was there supporting us. And I didn't know how to make my life work for me. I didn't know how I had become so entrenched in the negativity, so entrenched in painful memories. I just continued to replay, hurt and pain in my mind. And I continued to feel like, I didn't have any way out. I just thought this was my life. This is it. And I don't want it. I didn't know. I didn't know. So the first thing I would ask is, do you want to live? Because like I said, my journey and my experience, I definitely feel as though that depression played a major role in my diagnosis. And some of the research that I came across, doctors will say that cancer is an internal suicide. And so that's the first question I would have. Do you want to live? And then after that, I would ask, are you willing, should you choose to go the natural route, are you willing to do whatever it takes? Because if you're not, then this might not be the course for you to take. What I also have in common, though, with those who decide to do chemotherapy or radiation and survive, what I have in common with them is that we believe that our healing is going to take place. You don't go into, if you survive chemotherapy or radiation or surgery, you don't go into that thinking that, oh, I'm going to die. You go into that saying, I'm going to make it through it. I'm going to make it through it. And I truly believe that a lot of the ones that don't survive or succumb to it is because their fear and their mental patterns were so aggressive surrounding death that, they didn't really give themselves a chance to make it through it.
Wow, that's really powerful because I think it was like 6 years ago I got to speak with another cancer conqueror as you, and that was a huge part of what he said to us that really stood out to me was that it was two types of people that have cancer. It's the people that believe that they're going to overcome it and the people that think they're going to die. And he said through treatment, you could see the two different aspects. You could see the people that were just letting all the negative thoughts just eat away at them. And then the other ones that just telling themselves what they're going to do after the cancer was gone, and having that belief system within themselves is like, oh, once I get done with this chemotherapy, I'm going to be able to do this and that, and have this positive outlook, where others were like, oh my God, I'm about to die. It's nothing. They were hopeless within, and people fail to realize is your mind is so strong. It's like, what rabbit hole do you want to go down? Because either way, it's gonna determine the end result.
It's like that line, either get busy living or get busy dying.
Yep, that's exactly what it is. So for anyone that will come to me and ask me, that's exactly what I would ask them first are you willing? Do you want to live? Are you willing? And if you're scared, it's okay. When I first started this journey, I was skeptical. Is this really working? Is this for real? Is this gonna work?
And if you don't mind telling the viewers, how old were you when this experience started?
I was 34.
So you're a young,
Yeah,
you're
young
young, you know what I
mother,
mean? You're still a
right?
baby. In the grand scheme of things, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So now we talked a little bit about the meditation. We talked about what was I about to say? The nutrition part. So when did you know that all three had to be on point?
Just as I continue to read and continue to do research, every article or book that I read, well, I take that back. Not every, because in the book of Mind Over Matter, they do talk about certain studies where they have studied certain communities where they don't focus on diet, but they don't have any history or any, they don't have the statistics of heart disease, diabetes, and cancer, and the difference between certain. There's one community in particular they studied, I believe it was in Philadelphia, and what that community had though was a strong network of love,
Mm,
of
that's
love,
huge.
a strong network of love. And then there are other studies that I read or other cases where people, experience spontaneous remission, and it was more like the placebo effect. So if you guys are familiar with that,
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
they give some people a pain pill and other people they give a sugar pill or what have you. And a lot of the times the people who get the sugar pill, they experience, the remedy or the alleviation from that, and it's simply because they believe. And so, for me, all the studies that I read, not all of them focus on all three. For me, I believe that I had to focus on all three because my unhealthy eating habits were directly connected to my depression.
When
And
you say unhealthy, what exactly do you mean? What
Yeah,
kind
what
of
were you
diet? Yeah,
eating?
what kind of stuff were you eating?
well, perfect example, when I first got diagnosed, I think I ate probably 50 packs of chocolate chip cookies. Like literally.
That was your
That
go-to.
was my go-to. When I was pregnant, my go-to was Rocky Road ice cream. It was just, when I felt down or sad or anything, that would always comfort me. And so for me, I realized that I had to focus on my eating because it was directly connected to my unhealthy mental patterns as well. And so, but a lot of the research, a lot more often than not, the research does point to changing your eating habits. I just wanted to highlight that for a couple of studies, that it does focus on love. It does focus on how powerful that is. And so, when I was going through the research, why I decided to switch to a vegan diet is I had never really thought about what our body has to do to digest food. And there's this analogy that I've given to a lot of my friends. A typical meal for me used to be burger, fries, and a shake, easy, and probably two pieces of pie.
That's everybody we know. Come on. Stop that nations real quick.
I'm afraid of both of y'all. Okay.
Nah, man, that's the life. That's the life we
No,
used to live.
mine was skip the fries, 2 In-N-Out burgers. Just saying.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. And so, one of the analogies that I give my family and friends is, that used to be a typical meal for me, easily, easily. And after eating that, what would your body have to do to break all of that down? Or I would say, for $1 million, what would you do to this burger, fry, shake, and probably two pieces of pie? What would you do for $1 million to get that to look exactly like poop?
Wow. Okay.
And they look at me like, huh? Like, what you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, no, literally, like, for $1 million, what would you do? And I said, if somebody came to me with that, I'd be like, oh man, oh, but you can't use a blender because we don't have a blender inside of our body. So I said, man, I probably put it all into a pot, stir it up, boil it, probably strain it, smash it, beat it, pound it. I probably put it in the oven to try to dry it all out. I might chew some of it up, spit it out, just whatever,
Yeah, whatever it took.
whatever it took. I want that $1 million. And I said, well, yeah, that's a lot of energy, right? It's a lot of energy. You pounding that meat, you pounding that meat. And so when we eat all of this, that's exactly what our body does. And it comes out generally the same color, generally the same consistency. So think about how amazing your body is to be able to do that. And you don't have to tell your body, do this, break it down, all right, come out, roll it out. We don't have to tell our body to do any of that. And so then I would say, for $1 million, would you rather do the burger, fries, and shake, or would you rather work with beans and rice and vegetables? Which one would you rather have to beat and pound and process to have it come out looking like food? I mean, for me, obviously, I would rather do the beans and rice and vegetables because that
A
would
lot
be a
easier.
lot less
A
work.
heck of a lot easier.
A lot less work. And so when I started thinking about that, I'm like, wow, yeah, that's absolutely right. When your body has more energy to focus on healing itself, then that's exactly the kind of body that I wanted. I wanted to be able to maximize my own resources within myself. And so we don't realize the amount of energy that's taken up just on digesting food. And we do this typically 3 times a day. And this is a major reason why, or not a major, this is the reason why that you eat a heavy meal, you're sluggish, you're tired. For every type of food that you eat, your body has to produce a different type of chemical to break it down. And we're, combining all these different foods, and then your body has to work overtime to break down all these different kind of foods.
And we're not even talking about all the hormones and everything else that goes into the foods that we're currently putting into our bodies. You know what I'm saying? Like all the things that your body has to identify as like, okay, this is a hormone that the animal took,
Right.
or whatever the case may be. Now it's in me as a supplement. What do I do with it?
Right. Not only